Coming up on the second hour of American Sunrise, President Trump a target yet again? A hunting stand with a sight line to President Trump's Air Force One exit area was found near the Palm Beach airport. The FBI investigating the situation. Is the president in any danger? We're going to have details straight ahead. Plus, a fragile ceasefire on the brink of collapse after Israel launches a wave of strikes in Gaza over the weekend because Hamas violated the Trump brokered deal. Get it right, mainstream media, liberal media, the details ahead. And former National Security Advisor John Bolton, not to be confused with Michael Bolton, pleading not guilty to all counts, including illicit transmission of national security details. Does the case hold water? Find out. Second hour of American Sunrise starting right now. Good morning, America.
Welcome to American Sunrise.
Whether it's culture,
we have breaking news to share with you.
Politics.
President Trump is joining us live now from Florida.
We've got you covered.
This is what it looks like to be a patriot.
We have to protect the American family.
The American dream is still alive.
I'm David Brody.
I'm Terrence.
And I'm Dr. Gina.
Welcome back, everybody, to the second hour of American Sunrise. I'm David Brody, coming to you from D.C. Let's bring in T. Bates in our Denver newsroom. Emily Finn in West Palm today, filling in for Dr. Gina. Good morning to both of you. Emily, how were the No Kings rallies? I'm assuming you were there with all of your signs.
No, definitely not there. You know, Jake Novak earlier accused me of being in Paris at that heist at the museum, too. Everyone thinks I'm in different places than I actually am. But yeah, that was pretty wild to see those throughout the weekend there, David.
Mm-hmm.
You know, David, it's funny you brought up the No Kings rallies, but Emily, I'm with you. Like, I was really fascinated that there was a heist at the Louvre, that someone actually got into the Louvre and stole jewelry and that kind of thing. Like, that's stuff that movies are made of. I don't see that as being real life, but apparently it did happen. Who breaks into the Louvre
and by the way,
gets away with it?
Can I just say something about that? I'm a little confused. What's the end game there? So you steal it, and then what? Hi, I've got Napoleon jewelry I'd like to sell you. I mean, that's not going to work. I mean, who's going to buy that? You'd be an accomplice to a crime. Am I missing something there? I mean, and if they're going to melt it down into something, you know, then why steal that? I don't know. I'm confused. I'm totally confused about it. But
yeah, no, it's bizarre. I mean, it's for me, the fact that someone broke into the Louvre and got away with it, like, that's huge. But then to your point, David, yeah, it doesn't make any sense. What is the end game? Like, what do you ultimately get out of that?
Well,
other
and
than
normally you steal art.
Criminals?
Yeah, normally you steal art. Sometimes, countries steal art, say, hey, we want it back in our country. It's already in France. It's there. Napoleon, France.
Right.
So I don't get that either. Anyhow, I don't know.
It's bizarre. Figure. It's definitely bizarre. We'll continue to monitor it when they catch the guys, because I'm sure they're going to, or the people involved, will let you know about it. Another big headline we're following, President Trump starting this week by welcoming another world leader to the White House. Australia's Prime Minister expected in the Oval Office around 11 o'clock this morning. He'll meet with President Trump and participate in a bilateral meeting and a lunch. In the meantime, the commander-in-chief also making headlines for blasting another head of state in a not-so-subtle or diplomatic post on Truth Social. 47 writing, President Gustavo Petro of Colombia is an illegal drug dealer, strongly encouraging the massive production of drugs in big and small fields all over Colombia. It has become the biggest business in Colombia by far, and Petro does nothing to stop it despite large-scale payments and subsidies from the USA that are nothing more than a long-term ripoff of America. As of today, these payments or any other form of payment or subsidies will no longer be made to Colombia, he writes. The purpose of this drug production is the sale of massive amounts of product into the United States, causing death, destruction, and havoc. Petro, a low-rated and very unpopular leader with a fresh mouth towards America, better close up these killing fields immediately, or the United States will close them up for him, and it won't be done nicely. Period, as my kids would like to say. Meantime, President Trump also turning heads for commuting former Congressman Jorge Santos' sentence and getting him released from prison. Santos is a free man this morning thanks to the 45th and 47th president. He served less than 90 days of a 7-year federal prison sentence for fraud and identity theft.
I wasn't even aware until I learned it off of the chyron of mainstream media inside of the prison myself. I had just been released from segregated isolation after 41 days for absolute no valid reason other than retaliatory warden.
So sorry, I
learned it from the TV.
The New York Republican pleaded guilty to lying to donors and stealing 11 people's identities to make donations to his campaign. While the president calls Santos a rogue, he also goes on to write, quote, "At least Santos had the courage, conviction, and intelligence to always vote Republican." All right, folks. Well, in case you happen to miss it, come to your TV screen and check this out. Hawaii's Mount Kīlauea volcano erupts for the 35th time, but this time spewing lava 1,500 feet into the air, making the highest lava fountain recorded at that volcano to date. This latest eruption lasted about 7.5 hours from Friday night into early Saturday morning. The U.S. Geological Survey is keeping an eye on Kīlauea, which has been a very active volcano since it began erupting in December of last year. That's a quick check of your headlines. Now let's get a quick check of your forecast. Meteorologist Tracy Anthony joining us. Tracy, so obviously Kīlauea is one big story, but also the tropics continuing to be very active.
Yeah, definitely. We have a lot that we're watching. And Terrence, there's a cluster of thunderstorms that are out by the Windward Islands, and they're going to be making their way into the Caribbean Sea. And as that cluster of thunderstorm activity moves into the Caribbean Sea, it's moving into warm ocean waters. We're talking sea surface temperatures up in the mid to upper 80s, 86, 87 degrees. And that is just going to allow that cluster of thunderstorms to start to organize, start to become the heat engine that becomes a tropical system. So we're going to be watching this very closely over the next couple of days. And from the Caribbean Sea, really the model's not agreeing where that system is going to be going. So we need a little more information once that cluster becomes a little more organized. Back here across the lower 48, though, mostly seasonable temperatures, but some fire danger across the Central Plains. That's after record heat. And, you know, Terrence, I know you're in Denver. You are under those fire weather outlooks today. So be mindful of that. I don't know if you're, doing any bonfires on a Monday.
Yeah, that's how I spend my Mondays, sparking bonfires and eating s'mores. Thanks so much, Tracy. We'll talk soon.
Sounds good.
All right, let's get you over to David. David, I don't know about you. Bonfires and s'mores on a Monday, that's the best way to start the day. Or start
it is. I'm going to
week.
have to clearly cancel my bonfire plans now, so that's just unfortunate. All right, TVs. We're following the latest, by the way, as you know, because you've been on this show just like me the last hour. The latest on the discovery of that hunting stand pointed directly at Air Force One near the Palm Beach airport yesterday. FBI Director Kash Patel announced the FBI was investigating the incident. Details still coming in. Joining us now with reaction is RAV Chief White House correspondent Brian Glenn. Brian, what can you tell us about this? What's your spidey sense thinking this morning? Good morning.
Good morning to you, David. Well, Secret Service agents spotted this hunting stand Thursday night, right before President Trump's arrival that would happen on Friday. Now, according to the latest sources, they're still trying to figure out just how long that hunting stand has been there. Now, I did my research on deer season in Florida for this hunting stand. Palm County or Palm Beach area falls into Zone A, which doesn't start until November 22nd for guns. So the last time I checked, and I guess everyone at the studio could tell me, there are no deer running around the Palm Beach airport, but certainly concerning as to who put that up, what was their intention. Now, I read a report this morning that because of construction at the airport, that plane would have stopped somewhat near the direct line of sight where that hunting stand faced. So we'll actually see, maybe was there any coordination? Does someone know that plane was going to stop right there? And mind you, that Mar-a-Lago has been basically shut down, until this weekend for the most part. President Trump making his return to the club. So this was premeditated, no doubt. We're just got to find out who's behind it.
Brian, yesterday morning, the Israeli military carried out a series of strikes on Hamas targets, saying the terror-aligned group violated the terms of President Trump's hard-won peace deal. How's the White House responding to this?
Yeah, this is not good. I know that President Trump, and I watched the special on 60 Minutes last night with Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner talking about this peace agreement, talking about the trust that we were somewhat putting in Hamas to abide by this ceasefire. And of course, the Israeli forces pledging their commitment to it as well. But it doesn't surprise anybody that this has happened. And of course, now that the ADF had made I guess, a strike on Hamas and injuring, I guess, a few innocent Palestinians as well, but they have returned to go back to the ceasefire agreement. But do we expect anything other than this from Hamas? They can't be trusted. They need to be eradicated out of there. And I wish that this was the last time that we were talking about this, because sadly, this peace agreement that President Trump put together is on the brink of collapsing due to Hamas not abiding by it.
Hey, Brian, let's talk about the government shutdown. I hate to,
Yeah.
but it is news, and so we've got to address it. Will this week be the charm? Obviously, last week there was a 10th vote that failed to reopen the government. Now that we're through the No Kings rally, hopefully cooler heads will prevail. What are your sources telling you there on Capitol Hill about the potential of moving forward and getting the government reopened?
I don't think it's going to be reopened anytime soon. Now, let me explain why. If you look at the overall, I would say, success of the No Kings rally, they did have a sizable crowds across the United States. Their message to the Democrats weren't to open up the government and let's have a dialogue about policy. Let's get this government back open to help the American people. It was just an anti-Trump rally. So in the eyes of Democrats, they've got the support of the American people for this shutdown. So I don't see any urgency from the Democrats to actually do anything. They have nothing to lose by holding out like this. Now, let me fast forward to tomorrow. Tomorrow is the first day that many federal employees, TSA, air traffic controllers, and other federal employees across the agencies will not get their first full paycheck. The last paycheck they got was a partial paycheck. Tomorrow, they were expected to get a full paycheck. So if you're traveling and those TSA agents aren't the most friendliest people in the world, give them a little bit of a break, because they did not get a paycheck. Well, as of tomorrow, they wouldn't have. So I think this thing goes well into the November 21st deadline, which was the original deadline for the CR. It was a temporary pass there. I think it goes to that. And from that point, Terrence, I have no idea. I want to get the government open. I know that we have lawmakers that want to solve problems right now, fix this country on all four fronts, and they can't do it because the Democrats are holding the American people hostage. And as far as the No Kings rally, if they would have focused on opening up the government, their message would have been, hey, Democrats, Republicans, let's get together. Let's open up the country. That might have helped the Democrats do that. But that wasn't their message. It was simply a hate Trump rally.
Who do you think, Brian's going to blink first here? This is going to be interesting. Normally, it's Republicans that always cave. And,
Yes.
Democrats are waiting for that day to happen. They're going to take their cue from the president. So I just wonder how this is going to work out. What's your sense on that?
I think the Democrats bend at the end of the day. I really do. I think that that's just my gut instinct. Anything, but as you travel outside D.C., people in Georgia and Alabama, all around the Deep South, a lot of people don't care about this government shutdown. It doesn't affect them. They're worried about their individual lives here. Only people within the Beltway, obviously TSA workers and federal, air traffic controllers around the country. Surely they are concerned. But I do think the Democrats cave at the end of the day, because Trump, he has the cards on this.
Yeah,
Brian, if I can
think
just
you're right.
add, at the moment, it doesn't affect those people that you mentioned in Alabama and Georgia and elsewhere. But eventually, I've got to think that it will affect the greater American people, no?
Yeah, no, I think the people have the power in this. So if you have a family or a loved one, a friend, neighbor, someone at church that's being affected by this government shutdown, call your representative in your state, where Democrat or Republican, call them and put pressure and say, look, open up this government for the American people. Just do it. And all the Republicans want it, and you guys know this, is a temporary extension on an agreement that both sides has already agreed on. This was just a clean CR. Let's get it to 21st, and then let's go from there. That didn't happen. So I think they're losing the public opinion, the messaging on this. I really think they are, because look at the bizarre. Look, when you have a rally filled with Barney, Sesame Street characters and you've got violent people. They're not winning the messaging on this at all. Republicans are trying to fix the problems and achieve world peace. So I think the Democrats are the ones that will cave first.
Agreed. It's all about a clean extension, and this is what we get.
So,
okay, Brian, thanks for being here. Appreciate you.
Yep.
Thanks, Brad.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Coming up, are you struggling with mounting debt and overdue bills? The way out could be easier than you think. We're going to show you how when American Sunrise returns. Back in a moment.